you and Dr. Duesberg as a result of your studies concerning HIV and AIDS?
Well, the war on AIDS this year, as a result of pressure from President Clinton, is now costing the U.S. taxpayers, just through the federal government alone, some $7 billion. That's a lot of money, and it's a lot of power. That money is being spent through 4 or 5 federal agencies primarily, or maybe 6 federal agencies. And the research money is coming mostly through the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control and a couple of other agencies. And this money has bought scientists. Scientists do not necessarily search for truth anymore. In fact, mostly scientists will research and come to whatever conclusions they can get grants for and money. And in 1984, it was declared by the federal government at a press conference that AIDS, the AIDS epidemic and the AIDS disease, was caused by a particular virus that we now call HIV. That was announced at a press conference by scientists who then, that afternoon, got the patent on the virus and on the test for the virus, and has become very wealthy since that time selling the test for the virus. But there had been no scientific studies at that point that showed that this virus was the cause of AIDS. And indeed, we're saying that since then, no studies have ever emerged to show that HIV is actually the cause of AIDS. In other words, there's now good reason to believe that we found the wrong cause of AIDS, and that the $7 billion spent this year in the war on AIDS, the $30 billion spent up to this date on the war on AIDS, which is all being spent to study this virus, is barking up the wrong tree. It's actually a wild goose chase designed for political reasons to chase this virus when in fact something else causes AIDS.
Are you and Dr. Duesberg the only people, noted scientists, people in the medical field, or virologists that hold this position?
No, in fact, that's a wide misperception, is that we're the only ones. There are now over 200 scientists and medical doctors who have broken with the dogma of the scientific establishment and have begun to challenge this idea that HIV causes AIDS over the last several years. The list of scientists now includes top people, Nobel laureates, members of the National Academy of Sciences, and Dr. Duesberg is himself a member of the National Academy, but several other members as well. People who've received the Lasker Prize, Albert Sabin, who was the inventor of the major polio vaccine. A number of the very top scientists and medical doctors in our society today, over 200 of them, have now stepped forward to say that they're no longer convinced that we have the right cause of AIDS. Dr. Duesberg and others now believe that they may be right, that in fact the government has been chasing the wrong cause for over 11 years, and that this is worth a lot of money, and that there's a political agenda at stake. But because these scientists are now speaking out and challenging the official view of AIDS, it's beginning to threaten the financing of the war on AIDS. If this information were to get out, President Clinton's war on AIDS would collapse almost overnight, and we would find out that we have been talking about condoms and birth control and other topics that are inappropriate for school. We've been talking about these topics now to grade school children on the excuse of protecting them from AIDS and from the deadly AIDS virus, when in fact that AIDS virus may not cause AIDS after all.
What research or information led you to this position that you now hold?
We have discovered HIV is a virus that in fact, one would expect not to be the cause of AIDS. It is, in fact, a type of virus that we've been studying since the 1910s. It's called a retrovirus, and it's the sort of virus that has become very familiar to scientists. It's the subject of textbook studies. I've studied retroviruses from animals, and one of the most unique and distinguishing features of retroviruses, as opposed to many other categories of virus, is that they do not cause disease. They don't kill or destroy tissues in the body. They don't kill cells. In fact, I have grown HIV in T cells. T cells are the white blood cells of the immune system that help you fight off infection. According to the official scientific view, if you are infected with HIV, it infects your T cells, destroys them, gets rid of your immune system, and leaves you susceptible to opportunistic infections that finally kill you off, like pneumonias,